So here's the plan, Rebecca. We want to show you how it's possible to trade TradingView charts over to TradersPost to multiple prop firm accounts. That's kind of the aim. Now, because TradersPost isn't a regulated broker, this isn't going to work like a normal TradingView integration, right? Where you have the order lines and you have a limit order open and you have your take profit and your stop loss. We're going to trade with different instruments on the screen. We can use lines, we can use indicators, we can use strategies, we can use price alerts. Any place where you can attach an alert to an object on the screen, that's where we can tie this into a signal that we send to TradersPost to actually trade the account. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's like a trigger.
Cool. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to show you kind of a quick demo of how I'm doing this currently. And then what I want to figure out is how you're actually trading yourself. And then we'll see if we can construct like a version of this to work just for you. So give me just a sec. I'm going to pull open my charts.
The answer is not well. I'm just kidding. The last month or so, not great.
Yeah, same. I've had a losing streak lately, so it's been rough.
So it's not just me.
Yeah, no, it's not just you. And to make matters worse, I'm trading even more prop accounts now, and I'm still on a losing streak. So
the number just gets bigger and bigger.
The number just gets bigger and it just gets worse. Yeah. So
yes, yeah.
Hold on one sec. Let me set this up.
I maybe bought some Apex accounts to get things going on TradersPost. They're 80% off right now. I'm like,
they're
that's
80% off. Yeah. I bought like 9 of them.
I won't tell you how many I bought, but it's the max amount that you can buy.
Well, there you go. So,
so now you know.
I can't guess what that number is.
Might as well increase my losing streak.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let me show you this wild screen here, and I'll show you what this looks like. So on the right-hand side here is all of my prop accounts. Okay. I basically connected them one at a time. I have multiple Apex accounts, a Blue Sky, a Tradeify, and that's it. And then I have a couple of accounts I've already failed. But I'm in progress with the rest of these, and I know where my drawdown limits are. This is also something we're kind of working on internally, where we'll show you the balance, but we'll also show you how much drawdown you have left in the account as well.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is not something that every prop firm reports on, surprisingly and frustratingly. So here's the thought process. I like to trade with just these lines, and essentially each line represents a different message that I'm going to send to TradersPost. And essentially I have a single strategy on TradersPost, and you can think of a strategy as rules for how the trade should be executed. And then we're going to connect a bunch of broker connections to this strategy. So the strategy settings can include things like, I'm willing to go bullish and bearish. I don't want it to go from long to short and then short to long. Instead, I want to disable side swapping. It might include things like a defined position size. In my case, I'm setting the position size in my signal, in my JSON message. So I can control that myself instead of defining it here. I could do things like entry order types. It could be limit orders or market orders. I could change if they're good till canceled or good till day. I can choose how my entry would be structured in terms of what price we look at to execute a limit order. So you could ask for like the bid ask midpoint, or always use ask, always use bid. You can also incorporate things like automatically create a take profit and a stop loss. So if I send a buy signal and I don't have a way to tell it exactly where the take profit or stop loss could be, I could just say, set my take profit at 1% above my entry price and my stop loss at 0.5% below my entry price. Right. And that would automatically get created as long as the broker supports bracket orders. So there's a lot of different ways in which I can control how trades are going to be executed. And then once I've defined all of these settings, I'm basically going to subscribe all of my brokers to that strategy. In this case, you can see all my prop firm accounts are now connected to this one strategy. And what happens is when I go to the strategy, I'm going to copy the webhook URL. This URL is basically where I'm going to connect an alert on TradingView to execute the messages that I have defined. And it's those JSON messages that are a little complicated at first, but we have, if you just go to our chat support and you go to messages, you can ask a question like, help me build a JSON message to trade 2 M&Q front month contracts and sell them to go short. And basically, the response is going to come back and tell you exactly how the JSON message should be constructed. And then all you'll have to do is copy that message and copy your webhook URL and put it in the alert. And when that alert triggers, that's the message that's going to get sent. So what came back was kind of an unhelpful code here. This is obviously, it misinterpreted what I meant by front month. So it didn't just change this to M&Q 1 exclamation mark and instead just put this weird code in here. So you'd have to change this a little bit, but essentially it's showing you the message to sell to a quantity of 2. And that's the message that we're going to send. Now on the left here, let me just show you kind of how I've done this. In my line alert, I have the text in here with the message already defined. So M&Q M 2025, I'm trading the front month contract. I want to action equals sell. Quantity is 2. I send along the price, so I know what the price was when it came from TradingView. And I also send along the time from TradingView as well. So when this line gets triggered, that entry is going to be made. It's going to end up selling 2 contracts. And what's cool is that with lines and alerts connected to a line in TradingView, all I have to do is drag this and it will activate the alert. You can see that it went from gray to red on that little alert line. Mm-hmm. And then in my panel here, I can also pause that alert so it doesn't execute. You have to be kind of careful with lines because if you put it on the wick of a candle, it will execute the trade right away because it assumes that that low is already captured in the current bar. Okay. But you could put it like right below this, for example, and if the price keeps coming down, then I'm going to sell 2 contracts across this strategy and all of the broker accounts that I have connected. So my question for you is, we can set up basically the same thing. We could set up lines. We could set up, you could just do it on price alerts, where anytime you could right click and say, add an alert at this price, but then each time you have to go in and kind of make your message and then connect your webhook URL. It's kind of cumbersome. What I like about the lines is that I don't have to keep resetting them. They're either enabled or disabled. So I have long lines down here. So this would be for a long order, which is why I colored it green. Mm-hmm. And then I have red lines for entering a short. And then I have 2 exit lines because sometimes I like to take partial profits, or I have a take profit and a stop loss that I use with those 2 lines. I think the lines are the most effective. It's easiest to work with. It's as close to the way TradingView works with a broker connection. Right. But why don't I just go ahead and send this signal through so in real time you can see what actually happens here. Yes. I'm gonna make that mistake of putting the sell line on the bottom of this wick, and you'll see that it executes right away. And then I'm just gonna try to get out of these. So boom, it just sent an alert.
Wow, that's quick, eh?
Already paused. And then if I look at my strategy, you can see I've sold 2 contracts short, and it traded all 11 accounts simultaneously.
Wow.
This one, and you can see in each one, there's this little indication of whether or not there was slippage. Some of them got in exactly at the price I asked for. This is negative slippage, so I got in 50 cents lower than I wanted. This one had positive slippage, so I actually got a little bit better of price discovery on this one. And so you'll see that across these accounts, they're all going to get slightly different prices. Mm-hmm. Now to exit in this trade, I can just send this alert. And the moment that activates, it's going to send an exit signal. And then if I go to the dashboard, you'll see I have no positions open. And it just completed the exit of all 11 accounts. Unfortunately, I lost $56 in most of these and $29 in a couple of others.
Oh, no. Sorry.
No big deal. This is all part of the deal here. So,
okay.
But that's the idea, is I can now just move lines across my screen and basically trigger alerts that get sent to TradersPost to get me in and out of these positions as expected. Is that something you think would work for you?
Yes, it is, because I trade the opening range high and low,
Okay.
and I work with VWAPs. So it would definitely work. What I would need to do then is, like you said, be aware of my lines on the screen, because I
Mhm.
mark off my opening range high and low with lines. So maybe I should just stop doing so much hard work and just use an indicator.
You could. And
And then it will be so
there is an
confusing.
orb indicator on TradingView, if I recall. I think somebody's
No.
already put a few of these together. So
I know there is. But yeah, so basically, because I know, like, initially looking at your site, you think like, okay, this is an algo, but this is like manually setting up your copy. I know copy trading isn't necessarily the phrase that we want to go for, but like synchronizing your trades across all your accounts, right?
exactly.
So that's awesome. And I think that looking at it, there's two different ways to go. You could use an algo, and like you can, I guess, please correct me if I'm wrong with the terminology here, as someone like in layman's terms,
That's okay.
because that's
Yeah,
me.
go for it.
When you say like algo trading, you're not
Mhm.
saying that they're like, can I set up my strategy, not wake up in the morning and have it activate? Or do
Yep.
I have to wake up and draw those lines on?
You can go either way. So let me show you
Okay.
my other strategy that automates the process of buying and selling based on signals I've generated in a TradingView strategy.
I'm
So,
just thinking about preschool drop off and pickup and all that fun
oh
stuff,
yeah,
and it takes me away from the computer for a long time, and I miss out on a lot of good trades.
you got it. So do the same example with my VWAP strategy that I've written, which has a fairly good edge to it. And let me pull back the date here. We'll go May 1st, and I'll show you the trades that have come through. So I'm going to show you just the basics of how a TradingView strategy would work. So this is a strategy that since May 1st has had a 62% win rate and a profit factor of 2 to 1. So
Nice.
ultimately it's made some money, and it's a really simple strategy. It just buys if price closes fully above VWAP from the open, and it tries to trade the entire session, only closing at the end of the day, but it does have a trailing stop attached to it. So like this is a perfect trade setup. It went long at the beginning of the session and closed at the end of the day. This one closed at the end of the day, fairly break even, and so on and so forth. So you can see, looking at the strategy tester, if I look at each trade, you know, this day was an $800 day, went long at the open, closed at the end of the day, $800 on 2 contracts.
Nice.
So the way that this one works is, instead of
Micros.
having, these are micros, yeah, 2 M&Q contracts.
Okay.
And I've built most of my strategies specifically for prop accounts so that they don't have much drawdown. Like this one only had 1,183 in max drawdown through that whole period. So I know I'm not going to trigger my max loss limit.
Right.
So the way this one would work is, instead of having individual lines and alerts there, I just go to my strategy and I'm going to create an alert on the strategy itself. And I'll put in the message, but the message is going to be a default message for strategy types. I already have this on my alert screen, so let me just show you what this looks like. These are the placeholders that are meant for strategies on TradingView. So the action is still M&QM. I'm going to grab the order action from the strategy, the sentiment from the strategy, the quantity from the strategy, the close price, and the time. And then I have some extra variables I send along for, like, what strategy am I running, things like that. And then I attach my webhook. And what that means is, now I can close this chart. I've got the alert active. I can walk away from my computer, turn it off. And the next morning, right at the session, as long as this alert triggers, it's going to fire off this strategy automatically. So I can now fully automate a strategy on TradingView without having to worry about lines at all. I can also go semi-discretionary. I could have it to where I have lines on the chart. Let's say I'm trading the lines. Wow, now of course that short's playing out.
Yeah.
I could have lines on the chart. Exactly, it's always that way.
It is, yes.
And then I could also use like a trailing stop. So let's say I entered here and I went short, and I want to follow by an ATR multiplier of 1.5. that would make it to where's the multiplier? What happened here? Oh, it's way up there. This is too much room. Let's call it 1. And I guess price is really tight right now. We could even make the multiplier 0.5, which is really, really tight. But essentially now there would be a trailing stop that's automatically connected to the price action on the charts, right? And so as price comes down, this ATR-based trailing stop is going to just follow that price, and I can attach an alert to this trailing stop alert, and I put in a message to exit my position. Let me show you real quick what that looks like. Oh, that's weird. All my notepads are gone.
Oh no.
So I'll show you what the message would look like. It's basically ticker is MNQM 2025, action equals exit. And we take that exit message and we save it. And now the moment that this ATR is triggered by price, then it would exit this open position. So that means I could start the day and manually enter my position from a line, but then let an ATR-based trailing stop get me out. Or maybe I have another indicator that I want to use as my exit signal. So I could attach the alerts to that exit signal as well. So you can really mix and match. This can be indicator-based, it could be strategy-based, it could be manual lines at the beginning of the day, and then an automated exit at the end of the day or mid-session, whatever you prefer.
Okay, that's really cool. And then if you start with this strategy, like say, whatever, I walk away from my computer, I set up a strategy that's not manually line based. Can I then come in and manually change this strategy that I've set by moving things? Okay, perfect. Yep. And then I'm just thinking about Apex, right? I'm just thinking about how they have the intraday trailing drawdown. And my other accounts are funded because I bought straight to funded accounts on good sales and whatnot. So could I have the same strategy running on 2 different groups of accounts, but then my Apex one, it'll be like as soon as it's in 1R, move the stop to being like 0.5 R in profit, for example.
Sure. It'd get a little sophisticated, but essentially you'd have different layouts for different account connections. But essentially you can group your accounts into different strategies that each have their own webhook URL. And then on one chart, you have alerts with this webhook URL. And then on another chart, you have this webhook URL and so on and so forth. So that makes sure that at TradersPost, when you connect all those specific brokers to a single strategy, only those brokers get traded with those alerts. So you have to think of everything from the strategy level first. You would just basically have 3 strategies.
So it takes time to set up, but then once it's set up, you're pretty good to go. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a little bit of sophistication in setup. And then, once you get the hang of it, it's definitely very smooth after that. I personally have all those accounts connected to one system right now, but I'm actually breaking them out. I have a mean reversion strategy, which is going to trade 2 or 3 accounts. I have another breakout strategy that'll trade 2 or 3 accounts. Then I have this VWAP to close strategy, which will trade 2 or 3, and then I'll manually trade the others. And I can separate them all in the same way that you're describing. That way, they're all taking independent risks. They're not highly correlated. They're, in some cases, it could be trading different instruments too. I could have some trading ES, some trading MNQ, some trading gold, and so on and so forth.
Cool. That's really cool. And I just think about someone like me who you're like, just write in the message, the whatever you called it. I'm like, the what? Like, I don't know. I've never done any sort of like coding or anything in my life, so it's intimidating to come to something like this, and it's like you have to place certain messages and webhooks in certain areas, but if you get it like set up and then you're good to go, I feel like it just takes some practice to get used to. You'll find in our documentation we list out all the different properties you can define. There is a little bit of work involved in understanding how a JSON message is structured, but you'll find that it's just text. It's not like we're having you write code or anything like that, and if statements. Seems like code to me.
Yeah, it looks like code, and it can be a little intimidating, but ultimately it's just there's sort of a syntax to it, or a language to it, if you will, where as long as you write it correctly, it'll do exactly what you asked it to do. This
Cool.
format that we use, the reason it's called a JSON message is because it does come from the programming world. It's JavaScript object notation is what it stands for. And that format is used for computers to communicate with each other pretty commonly. It's a very common language. So there's a lot of tools out there that can help you define the message that needs to be defined. But it's why I showed you in the TradersPost dashboard, you can just ask our support channel what message you need, and it'll just write it for you. And that'll make it a little bit easier as well. Then you can just copy that and put it right in. You just have to be pretty specific about what you're looking to do. But yeah, the mixing and matching, the breaking it out into multiple accounts, all certainly possible on the platform.
Okay, so my thinking is I'd really like to, like, I really like this. I want to try this. I think I want to try it with my Apex accounts, and maybe if we do like, just so I can get practice with them, maybe break them up into groups of 5 and have 4 groups of 5, just so I can get used to like to the different strategies and how it works and stuff like that, and before I attach it to my funded accounts.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I think do you have any Top Step accounts by the way?
Let me look.
Okay, because I know they have a practice account. You're welcome to attach the practice account to our system first too.
They do, and so does my top one. My top one has a practice account as well.
Does Top One use TradeAvate though?
No, it's Project X.
Okay. Well, good news is we're going to be supporting Project X very soon. So that'll be an opportunity within the next few weeks.
Yay. Oh, look at that. I have a combine going on. Top Step. I didn't know. A brand new combine. Okay, so I have a combine, so that's cool. I can attach it, but it's on Project X. That's not going to work. But I can do a practice on TradeAvate, so that's cool. Okay. And then Project X, when you can connect all those, that'll be really cool too, because I'm with the Futures Desk, which also uses Project X, Top One. But I have to say, like, I know that Top One, they don't allow algo trading, but I could use it with, like, if I manually trade them, I can do it.
With Top One? Do they not allow algo trading?
No, last time I checked, they do not. I can check again, but
thought I had them on my list of ones that we should be able to support in the future.
Okay.
Let me double check though.
Let me double check right now too.
So EAs and trading bots on funded accounts are not allowed, but you're apparently allowed to use them on the challenges, which is a little confusing.
Okay.
Of course, HFT is strictly prohibited, and we don't really support HFT on our platform at all. You have to have a few seconds, more than a few seconds between each trade.
Okay.
But that's not how you trade anyway, right?
No.
Yeah.
I think I would like die of a heart attack if that's how I traded. So.
Yeah, the scalp trading is just not even possible from TradingView. There's too much time. There's too much time slippage to even get in and out of the position that you're hoping for. You have to be as close to the broker as possible in order to scalp like that. And it's very, very difficult to do.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yep, no problem.
That's okay. Okay. So definitely do due diligence on that before setting it up.
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
So I think step one would just be find an account that you're comfortable connecting to TradersPost that you can experiment with. Then we can create a basic strategy that has some rules about what should happen with the trade. Like, do you typically attach a take profit and stop loss? It sounds like you use the R system.
I use it on like a day, like an over, like it's not per trade.
Okay.
But if I'm going to go this route, I'm okay with making my strategy more systematic and just being like the RR is like 1-1 or 1.5 to 1 or something like that. That's fine by me. Which honestly, in this market, kind of seems like it's a better way to go because things can flip on you on a dime. Is that the right? Okay, so I have my Apex account up here. I'm getting the TradeAvate API returned a status code of 0 unknown. These problems are usually temporary. Please try again. If this error continues, please contact your broker. Yeah,
just give it another try. A status code of 0 would just mean that they were unresponsive on their side. So just go ahead and run through the flow again and see if it works that time.
Okay.
This can happen from time to time. TradeAvate has issues with their API occasionally. It's very rare.
Okay, would it be connect paper or live? It'd be paper, right?
Either path will detect what the type is anyway, but go ahead and click paper. You can give this a name if you want. I usually name mine according to like the date that they started, so I know how many days in I'm on, or I'll give them a numeric label so that I know how many I've connected. Totally up to you.
Apex, let's do this so it's not so confusing with the date there. 1.
There you go.
Okay.
So now when we list them out on your dashboard, they'll all be in alphabetical order if you add more and more as you go.
Okay.
And is that the only Apex account in that drop down there? Just to make sure we have the right one connected. No, there's a whole bunch.
Where did all those? I did not buy that many today, just to be clear. I don't know where all those came from.
We can't see the drop down from here, which is good for you. But just so you know, like you'll want to make sure you've chosen the correct one here.
Where did all of those accounts come from? Okay, so let me see what the first one would be. Okay, yeah, some of them are old, so they pull up some of my old ones. So, which I tried Apex like probably a year ago.
Got it.
As a new person, so I'm gonna change that one. Then I'm gonna make it. Sorry, let's just make sure this one. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
So that is now, go ahead and hit save.
Do I do max strategy positions or doesn't matter?
Some people use it. It's not, it basically is designed to where if I'm already in an M&Q position and I add another MES position and then I say max strategy positions is 2, it won't let me trade gold after that. Right? It won't let me do MGC, for example. So the idea is to try to prohibit too many simultaneously positions at any given time. We do have some issues with it from time to time. There's this concept called race conditions, where if you're trying to get into a position and out of a position at the same time, the max strategy positions could prevent that. So it's kind of a finicky tool to use, but some people find it very useful.
Okay, so we'll just keep it.
Yeah, I would just leave it empty.
Okay. So
now what we're going to do is make a strategy. So we'll head over to strategies on the left-hand side there.
Okay.
And we're going to make a new one. And is this approach going to be the one where you're manually trading just the charts itself, or what are you thinking here on this one?
Let's do, I don't know. Okay, sorry. I don't know. I'm getting a stomach ache. No, I'm just kidding. Let's have this one be automatic.
Okay, if this is automatic, then it's going to come from an indicator on TradingView, right? Mm-hmm. Or a strategy on TradingView?
Yes, let's do the range high and low.
Got it. So do you have an indicator or strategy already in mind for that?
Yeah, what I do is I do a break and retest.
But is that written as a strategy or indicator, or are you going to just move lines on the chart?
I just do it myself.
Okay, then
I'd like to make it so it's like I don't have to do, like, I'll add in the opening range high and low, and then what I do for my strategies too is I combine them with a break of the VWAP. So a break of the opening range high, retest, break back out with a break of the high of day VWAP.
High of day VWAP.
Or
session
VWAP, or
VWAP.
low of day. Session, yes.
Right.
New York.
I like it. I like that you're using VWAP too. That's my favorite. Okay, so we'll give this a name. We'll just call it opening range breakout or whatever you'd like.
I can like never type when someone's looking at me. Yeah.
Okay, let me look away for a sec.
It's all the people. I'm just kidding.
It's everyone watching us. Go ahead and change the asset class to futures.
Okay.
And then the style you can put as discretionary for now.
Okay.
And then this will allow auto submit, live trading, allow any ticker. You could set some restrictions here to prevent this from trading other types of tickers in case mistakes happen. So like if you know you're only going to trade MES or M&Q, you could put those in here.
Okay. I like that. So wait.
You have to put something in the box first.
MES?
Yep. And they just have to be separated by commas.
Okay. Do I need to put in the contract?
No, we'll look at the root part of the symbol for you.
Okay. I've never traded M&Q, so this is exciting.
Oh, cool. Okay. So now, just in case you accidentally end up on the wrong chart and you send a signal with NQ and you're like, oh my God, no, I didn't mean to go full port on a NQ contract, we'll reject that trade because it's not in the allowed ticker list.
That's perfect because I have done that a few times.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I've lost accounts on that one.
Well.
Okay. So now go down a little bit further.
Okay.
All right, now here's the thing to think about when it comes to strategies and subscriptions. These concepts are really, the idea is a strategy is basically rules for how things should be traded, and a subscription is a copy of those rules, but with a connection to a specific broker account. So you can add as many of these subscriptions with their own copy of the settings, but then that means that for a specific broker account, you could also have rules that are independent. I've done this a couple of times where my example earlier, I showed you that I had lost $56 on a few accounts, and then one of them, I lost like half of that, right? That's because on the $50,000 combines that I have, I overrode the settings to where it only trades one contract instead of two. And that makes the size a little bit smaller on those accounts. So you have that flexibility to say, here are the general rules, but on this one, I want it to do this specifically. In this case, you're just going to connect one account. So this isn't as relevant yet, but I at least want to give you the idea that eventually you'll have this flexibility as you add more and more accounts. So if we head down a little bit further to the bottom, we should see a section that says edit subscription defaults.
It does not.
Oh, that's right. You have to save it first.
You have to save? Okay.
Yep. So now we'll go back to strategies real quick.
Okay.
And we'll edit this. And then scroll down.
There we go.
And now you should see edit subscription defaults.
There we go.
Click on that button in the top right that says edit subscription defaults. There you go.
Should I make you say it one more time?
No. Check the box at the top that says, do you want to apply these defaults?
Yes.
And what this is going to do is whatever you define here, each time you add a broker account, it'll choose these settings automatically for you. Okay. So as we move down, we're going to go through a few different settings here. One is, are you just long on this approach, or you're obviously going to have to be long and short because it'll break out on either side, right? So we're going to change sides to bullish and bearish. And that'll allow both long and short trades. We're going to disable side swapping because in this case, you're going to enter a short and then take profits at a specified area. So you don't want side swapping.
Also, a lot of prop firms don't allow you to like hedge because this looks like it would be hedging, right?
It's not hedging. Instead, it's basically swapping sides or offsetting your position. So I can go reversing. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Another word for it. We probably should say like the different words for the same thing there. It's like side swapping, reversing, offsetting. It's all the same thing. That's what we mean by that.
Okay.
Don't worry about sides isolated. That's not relevant either. The default tickers are already checked here. And then asset classes futures. You can set some rules around when it's allowed to trade if you want to. But you can do that on TradingView as well. Some people prefer to do it to where they're like, I only want to allow the trades that are coming through in this automated system I have between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern time. And then if any trades come outside of that, I don't want it to happen. And so you will reject those.
Okay.
Position size, you can define in the JSON message, or you can define it here. You could say, I want a fixed quantity every time of one contract. And then regardless of what comes in the JSON message, I want it to listen to the rules I have here. So there's a sort of hierarchy to the way this system works. You can put a lot in the JSON message, or you can put a lot in the strategy settings. And if you put things in the strategy settings, then your messages are smaller. You don't have to put as much in the message. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm thinking because it's like knowing how I trade with evals, I normally like full port them because I just want to get them done. But just for the sake of this, we'll just do 3.
I like these types of features where it's kind of in the strategy because I'm also the same type. If you give me the quantity, sometimes I'll add too much size, and TradersPost keeps me on a more even keel by like forcing me to use the size that I said I was going to use in the first place.
Right.
So that's the nice thing here.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to do a fixed quantity of 3.
I might do 5 because it is an eval, to be honest with you.
Okay.
There.
All right. So the rest of this you don't have to worry about unless you're sending more than one position. Do you ever add to an existing position, or do you just get in and get out?
I do, but I don't know if I'd want to do that without watching the trade.
Okay. So I was showing my red line on the chart earlier. I have add to position on mine, but I only trade 2 contracts at a time with a maximum of 4 contracts. So the way I do it is I'll set the line for the first entry and it gets into 2 contracts. Then I'll move the line to the next area where I feel like is a good place to add, and the alert turns back on. And then when it sends a signal, and because I have allow add to position enabled here, it'll add to that existing position. And now I'm in 4 contracts. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can do that too if you want. If you don't want it to add to the positions, then it's just going to reject those if you're already in 5 contracts, which could be a good thing in case you accidentally move the line or it accidentally triggers an alert.
Right.
Then we don't want that. Okay.
Yeah.
This has a box on right here that says use signal quantity, which means that if you put the quantity in the JSON message, it's going to ignore your strategy settings here. So if you want to confirm that absolutely every time I only want it to do 5, then you should turn that button off to ignore what's in the JSON message.
No, I want to keep this.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So now you have the ability to override it.
Okay.
All right. So entry order types, you want them to be market orders, limit orders?
Market.
Okay.
Wait, but if it's, yes, market.
Okay.
Okay.
And then don't worry about extended hours. That's only for stocks.
Okay.
Entry or exit order type, we want that to be market as well.
Yes.
Okay. And then the take profit and stop loss. You can have TradersPost calculate it for you here. We only allow dollar amounts offset from the price or a percentage amount. We're improving the system to offer tick-based take profit and stop loss, but it's not there yet. So you'll have to decide if you want us to submit the take profit and stop loss for you, then you have to use one of these 2 methods here.
Again, with a eval, I don't like, there's no consistency rules with Apex evals as far as I'm concerned.
Not for passing the eval, yeah.
Not for passing the eval. So like, I don't want to put anything here if that's okay.
That's fine.
Unless you would want it to be like, I want it to be 3,050 so that it doesn't keep running when you could have passed.
So the amount we're referring to here is the dollar amount of the market price of the asset, not your P&L.
Okay, so what would the percent be if it was a 50,000 and you needed a 50,000 account and you wanted 3,050
of
like as a real profit amount?
We're talking about each trade here. I don't assume you're taking one trade to pass an eval.
I have.
Okay.
But that was when it was like a very trending day and I got lucky, but I have, yes. But what I'm saying is like, if for, for some reason a great trending day happens, I get in right away at the break and then it runs and then I'm not watching it. Now it's like up at, with five micros, it's not going to get there. I don't think. Very, very, very unlikely. Right. But, so then I guess it wouldn't really matter here.
Well, we're still not talking about P&L of the account. We're talking about the market price. So the MES price is what right now?
Oh God.
59.30. So we're talking about like, do you want it to take profit at $60 higher than 59.30 at 59.90, or do you want it to be based on a percentage? So like 1% above my entry price.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. So you have to think, okay, so, oh man, if my dad watches this, he's going to laugh at me because he's always like, your math is so bad in your videos. I'm like, it's not a strong suit, Dad. I'm a people person.
So let me put it to you another way. I don't use these features because I know where my take profit and stop loss is on the lines on the chart, and they change depending on volatility of the price of the day. if prices are chopping
You
around.
just told me that at the beginning. Saved me a lot of embarrassment.
So we can skip this part, and we'll edit all this out. And we'll mention that Rebecca is a mathematician.
No, you leave it in. It makes me relatable.
I'm just kidding. All right. So we'll ignore this for now. We'll ignore the stop loss as well then. And you can go ahead and just hit save now.
How exciting.
So now the strategy like template for how things should be traded are defined for this approach. Now we're going to go ahead and connect your Apex broker. So we can go to the subscriptions tab and you'll hit new subscription and you'll choose the one we just built and then your Apex account and create. And what's going to happen is it's going to copy those settings that we just went through. The one thing you need to change in this list now is the auto submit feature. So if you check that box for auto submit, that'll make it to where the moment a signal comes through, we automatically submit that order to the broker. If you don't select this, then what'll happen is an order will come through and you have to manually approve or reject that order.
Nah.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we can enable this.
I went ahead of you there. Okay.
Okay. Terms of service. We'll assume you read all of the important disclosures here.
I got my lawyer to look over it. Great. Okay. Enable strategy subscription.
Yep.
I mumbled when I said that. Okay.
Okay. So now we are ready to actually send a signal. I'm not going to have you send one through, but I'm going to show you an example of where this can be done. We're trying to support all types of ways in which people want to trade. You can trade from the TradingView charts with alerts and lines, or alerts and indicators and strategies, whichever way you prefer. But there's also a dashboard built into our system that allows you to monitor and manage your trades from our system. So if you go back over to strategies and you click on the dashboard of your strategy, this is a place where you can actually manage your positions. So in the top right-hand corner, you can type in MNQ or MES, and you could submit a buy, sell, add, exit, or cancel order from here, and it would trade that TradeEvade account, that Apex account you have connected. So you can do it all from here. If in theory you could have, let's say you're just looking at the TradingView chart and you're like, perfect place to enter. You could have a buy order prepped here and ready to press go, and you just hit the enter button, and it would just execute across all the accounts you have connected here.
Crazy.
So kind of up to you on how you want to manage this whole process. You could manage it from TradingView, or you can manage it from this dashboard as well. Or you can start from TradingView and then exit from this dashboard, either way.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is going to give you a good example of like how to create these JSON messages as well. Let's say you want the JSON message for a quantity of 5. Remember earlier we were saying your strategy settings are set to 5, but let's say you want to override that and you want to do a quantity of 3 to get started. Then you would just put quantity 3 in that buy box.
Here.
No, sorry. 2 more down under quantity.
Yeah. Oh my, I can read. That 3, 3, 3. My keyboard disconnected. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, holy crap. No.
Too many 3s.
Yeah. 3.
Now, nothing's going to happen yet. Go ahead and hit buy MNQ 2025. And this box here that pops up is basically showing you what you're going to send to TradersPost as a signal. So this JSON message, you could literally copy the whole thing with the little curly braces, and you can put that in an alert on TradingView. And this is a good way to basically like generate the message that you want for each of the types of events. The one problem with this is that it generated the actual time. So you may have to replace that with the time now placeholder. It's curly brace, time now, end curly brace, or in curly brace. That's one of the many placeholders that TradingView provides. Say again?
Thank you. Is that the official name for those?
The curly braces, yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
Talk to the ALS. I didn't invent this.
I was like, you're making it very easy for me. Okay, so then we would go, for example, into here, and then if we go to my TradingView, right here, I'm on MES.
Okay.
So if I went to MNQ, and then help here.
So now, nope, under alerts, the button right below the watch list. This is where you would create any kind of alert here. You can create a line, I love the lines. I think it's the easiest way to manage it. You can also create a manual price alert, or you can add an alert to an indicator or a strategy that's in TradingView as well. In any of those cases, you'll need the messages necessary for your buys and your exits and your sells and your exits.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not doing anything right now, though, right?
Nope, nothing's happening yet.
No, but basically, because here's my, oh wait, I didn't mark up this chart, but I can do it really quickly. Again, I really should just have the indicators on here so I don't have to do this manually every single time, but I kind of like it. Good to get my day going. So like here, I always do this as yellow.
Okay.
Right there. Okay. So that's the high and low of the first 15 minutes. So then what you would do, for example, when I start the day, wait, if I want it to be manual, I don't have to come in and do this. I can do it the night before.
You could set up your high and low from the overnight, or set up your potential entry and exit, and then the moment that the session starts, you have alerts ready to go that are either paused or already activated. It just depends on how you want to trade the session.
Because what this would have done here is basically it would have, which actually this is the short that I took this morning. Womp womp womp.
Bummer.
Yeah, bummer.
Very bullish environment.
I know, but it would have, like, I don't want it to be a wick. I want it to be a full candle bar. So this would have been a first break, and then it would have been like, okay, here's a break here as well, bump, bump, and it would have entered short here.
Okay.
And then based on how I have it set up, and then it would have closed somewhere around here, and then it would have entered long here.
Okay.
Right? If that's like if I get it set up and I'm doing my strategy, which is high buy or sell on a break and retest and then re-break of the opening range high or low, then it would have done both of those here. And then the high.
Where would the stop have been for that first short?
I'd like to put my stops just above the New York VWAP.
Okay, so do you not, or do you have the VWAP session on here?
No,
you're
I don't know why
anchoring
I chose.
We got to help you out here. You got to use the built-in tools.
Don't judge me. I know that there's a built-in tool. I know. I'll get that all set up. I'll get that all set up. I you come in and anchor it. I'm like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Clearly I don't. So like, for example, I got tagged out on MES. It looked very similar. I got tagged out right there.
Okay.
As it fully closed above, right?
Right.
Because sometimes it comes up, retests it, and then continues down, which I also like that trade. That's also a trade that I do. So for this one, it would have been like enter here, and then the stop would have been down here, for example.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you and I trade very similarly then. I'm inclined to say you can use these indicators as your guide, but still use lines as your entry and exit points. And when those lines get triggered, that sends the signal off to TradersPost the way that you're expecting. So you would have a short line, and you'd have a long line, and then you'd have an exit line that you could move around depending on where it needed to be. And
okay, I like that.
Okay, so let me show you how to set these up. Let's make we'll make a long line, a short line, and an exit line, and I want you to color them and design them the way that you feel comfortable, so you know which one's which.
Okay. I've moved you to the other screen, so I don't see your face. I could just hear you right now. So, okay. Don't say that. Okay, so this, for example, even though it was a loser, my re-entry, my entry would have been right. It was actually right here because, and I would do, let's do red, because I had the low of day VWAP on there, which is purple. And so see how it came up. It retested the opening range low and then broke down below. And it just didn't work out.
Right.
Yeah.
So these lines that I'm referring to, the long, the short, and the exit line, they're also going to be, pretty much permanent on your screen. You can keep moving them around with each session as you go. And each time you move them, they're going to reactivate the alert. So you don't have to like recreate them each day. You'll just move them to the new spot. Does that make sense?
Yes. But you had your exits the same color.
I did. Yeah.
I
think I had them solid lines and a red for shorts. My exits were actually dashed white lines like you have right there.
Okay. I do like the solid idea for entries and then the dashed, and then I'll get the indicator. So I don't have to worry about that.
It's right there. If you hit indicators and hit VWAP, it's right there.
I know, honey. Okay. So I know VWAP. Okay. I have this one starred, but
no. The built-in technicals, that guy, that'll do it right there. And you can turn off the bands if you want, but it's always going to be pegged to the session because you're on the regular trading hours on this chart. So each day it resets.
See that. Okay. So what I would do here is, am I blind? Where's the setting?
You got to pull that drop down that says 4. Yeah.
View up session settings. I don't mind the band. I want to get rid of the bands for now.
Yeah.
So we'll get rid of the bands.
Cool.
And then okay, hold on one second. Let me delete my own keyboard. Oh, look at that. Okay. Wow. Why do I make my life so hard? So then if I go to settings, sorry, I talk with my hand from my mouth all the time. It's so annoying.
You're good.
So I want to do session.
But
then I can do multiple for different things here. So if I want to do like week,
month, whatever. I have a separate automated anchored VWAP as well that looks at the 2-hour chart and anchors off of the pivots. So I know where's VWAP, anchored VWAP from major pivot points on the price. And that shows up on my intraday as well.
Okay. And then how do I add another one in here?
So you click OK on this.
Okay.
And now that one's saved. Now go to the ... on that VWAP session in the panel there. Yep. And then just hit copy. And then you can do Option V to paste. Or Control V. You're a Mac person, aren't you? Yeah, there you go. Okay. And then hit the settings for the next one. And you can change the settings.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Where did this blue line come from now?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Okay. And then that one, I'll make it not blue. I'll make it orange. Great. So if I scroll out, where would it be? Down there.
Down there.
Look at that.
Now you get your weekly view app.
Changed my life. And then does this make you upset that I have nothing saved?
Yes, please save your layout.
I need to name it.
That's fine. Unnamed one.
Isn't that so bad? Okay, VWAPs saved. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be professional here. Opening range.
Or VWAP.
Yeah, or VWAP strategy.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this is so exciting. This is going to change my life.
Well,
Okay.
we at least got your indicators correct. I love that much.
Okay, let's turn off it. And then I can also automate the VWAP for low of day and high of day.
VWAP or just the high and the low of the day?
VWAP.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm not sure. There might be a built-in indicator for that. I've never tested for that. You could anchor that though. Yeah,
I know of one. Okay, perfect. So that's done. So this would be my exit line, entry line. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste that. So I have another one here. Great. So here they are. They live here. That's cool. So they live on your chart. They're going
to live on your chart permanently, and they'll always have the messages prepared, so you don't have to keep writing them each time. And then once we set an alert, every time the alert triggers, it'll turn off, and then you just move the line to reactivate that alert again.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's one of the easiest and smoothest ways to do it. So now if you want to make a separate long line, you could just copy your short line there and change the color. And then what we're going to do is build the messages.
Okay.
Okay, so you have 2 exit lines, which you're going to move for take profit and stop loss.
Yeah,
You have a short.
Been...
Okay, you have a short line and you have your long line. Now, we already know that your strategy settings are set up to where your contract size is determined, so you don't have to send the quantity in your message. And what I'm going to do is give you the message you want to put in each one of these. So for your white exit lines, I'm going to send this to you over Google, and then I'm going to show you how to set up the default messages, okay?
Okay.
So the first one is MNQM 2025. We highly recommend hard coding in the contract symbols because TradingView's rollover date is different than our rollover date. And sometimes you might be trading the wrong contract on TradersPost. So what that means though, is that at the end of each rollover period, you'll have to go back into these alerts and change the messages to use the correct contract symbol.
Okay, that's fine. I have done that before too, just trading the wrong contract.
Happens a lot. Every 4 times a year it happens.
Like clockwork. Yes.
Like clockwork. Okay, so action is exit. And we'll send the close price. Hold on one sec. I'm going to grab them from my chart. Okay, so for your 2 white lines, you're going to enter this message here. And that is going to send over the price at the time of the alert and the action exit, which is going to exit whatever open position you have on MNQ. So copy that message from our chat and then double click on the settings.
Add alert.
Not yet. I'm going to show you a quick shortcut here.
Okay.
So
I'm so excited.
under under text,
yeah,
we're going to paste in that message I gave you. And then you can actually see what's going to get sent now. I tried to make mine like kind of hidden so that it's not so like crazy on the chart. You could turn off the text here if you want. You can turn it on. You can make it lighter. You can make it smaller. You can orient it to the right. I just want to make sure that I see what message is going to get sent to the alert. So that's the reason I put it here so I can see it. But go ahead and hit OK now.
Okay.
And then hit the alert button on that settings dialog for the line.
Oh, sorry. Right
okay.
Up here. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So now you'll see if it crosses this line and it triggers only once, hit the message tab and see how it pre-filled that message for us. So that's the nice thing about putting the text in. That's perfect. That's what we want. And then in the notifications tab, we're going to add the webhook URL to your strategy.
I also,
oh no, we got to go through this whole process. This happens a lot. I've had a few of these like live demos where you'll have to enable that first, but you do need to enable 2-factor authentication in your TradingView account, and then you can use webhooks. Once that's enabled, we can refresh this screen and come back and go through it. But for the sake of brevity here, why don't we just skip this part? We'll assume we're going to come back and add the webhook URL, but I'm going to show you where you can get it from. So go back to TradersPost real quick.
Okay. And here, instead. Okay.
Great. Exit out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that webhook drop down? Yeah, go ahead and copy that.
Okay.
So now you have the webhook URL for this strategy copied. That's where you would paste it into that webhook URL box on TradingView. Then when that line gets triggered, they're going to send that JSON message to this webhook URL. And then we're going to do the rest of the magic for you.
Hey, that's not too hard, but I need to put in a message for my buy and sell too, right?
We're going to go back and do those lines now. So let me give you the messages you need for that.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'll try and set up my what's it called? Authentication.
Oh, your 2-factor authentication?
Yeah, if I can. Okay, I think I have it now.
Cool.
So got it. Let's try. What? Okay,
Well,
that's
so
pretty screen.
go ahead and go back to the trading view window.
Can I press create?
Yeah. You'll have to save your layout and then refresh the whole chart, and it should work after that.
Where did my lines go? Oh, they're way down. Wait, no, where did they go?
Oh, did you save before you refreshed?
I did.
Hmm.
Do I have to select it now?
Where are your lines? Oh, were we on the M and Q chart?
Yes. Oh, I'm on. Yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
That's why.
There it is.
Oh, there they are. Okay. So wait, settings? No, alert. Edit alert.
Edit alert. Yep. Now we'll go back. Bam. All right. Sweet.
Okay. So then on trade, I go to webhook, copy, back. Look at that. I'm a fast learner. Let's see. I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed, but like embarrassed of it that I worked in tech for a long time. And I'm still like, what's a JSON message? Okay, so that's there.
That's there, and that's live. You can see because the little alert icon is bright white. So if you go to your alerts tab on the right-hand side, you'll see the alert message. What's going on here? Where is it? Oh, go to the alerts tab. There you go. And there's an active one there now, and it's showing you what message is going to be sent. Now, one caveat to this is even though we set up the text box with this message, the alert has a copy of that, which means if you change the text of the line, it's not going to change the alert unless you delete the alert and recreate it.
Okay.
In which case, you just have to remember to add your webhook URL again.
Okay. See, this would have worked well. This would have worked well again. Look at that.
Have a good breakout.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so that did our exit line. You can do the same message for the other exit message or exit line.
Oh, geez, I have to go back to our chat here. Copy back here, paste.
Perfect.
Oh wait, I want to make it size 8. Okay, then alert, notifications.
Should remember that. Yep. And the message is already pre-filled, so you're good to go.
Oh my gosh, look at that. And then right now, I'm just going to pause them.
Great.
Okay.
And now, like I said, just go ahead and move one of those exit lines just a little bit, and you'll see what happens when you move it slightly vertically. It'll just reactivate the alert.
Oh, and it reactivates. You got to be on it. Okay, cool.
So just remember that. And like my other warning from earlier was if you put the line on a candle with a wick, even though it's not at the close yet, it'll still activate the alert because it looks at the high and the low of the bar, of the current bar.
Right. Okay.
So you just got to be careful with that.
Yeah,
all right. So now we have our exit messages. We can do our buy message now. I put that in our chat as well. Our long message.
Long. Oh, where's my chart? There we go. So it would be right here. No, yes, no, here. Settings. Paste. 8. I talk out loud. Alert.
Wait, let me see that one again. Go to the message. Okay, looks good. Something looked off for a second, but it looks fine.
Okay. Not to me. Okay, and then and
that's all set. So now your buy is set. You can pause that one.
Yeah, good idea. Got to move your talking heads. There we go. And then we have you here. Basically, you just sell. Change the word buy to sell.
Same message, just sell.
Look at me. I'm basically a coder. Okay, 8. I'm
glad you're saying that. I promise you, JSON is easy.
Yeah, don't try and teach me anything else. I will not. Wait, and then pause. Wow, cool.
So that's it. And now what'll happen is when you're ready to actually trade, you'll set up your sell or your buy lines. You can do both simultaneously. So it'll take either side. You could set up even more stop loss and take profit triggers if you wanted. There's no way to do like a bracket order where once it knows it's in the trade, then it automatically sets up the take profit and stop loss. We have a separate indicator we're working on for that. We're calling a position manager, and it will actually let you set your entry line and then automatically create your take profit and stop loss lines. And you just define everything in advance, and it will create the alerts for you.
That's really cool.
That'll be really cool. We're still playing around with the functionality of it, making sure it's working perfectly. But at least from here, you can do the math on where your take profit and stop loss should be. When we have the position manager script, it'll also keep track of your live P&L from your entry price. And that'll kind of help you monitor your trade in real time, especially as you're trading multiple accounts. I've been using the beta version of that so that I can keep track of the price on the chart and not have to worry about how things are going with 11 accounts. So that has helped tremendously. But the next thing to consider is how you would want to set this up in the next session in the morning. So if you're trading, if you're just waiting for the session to open, and then you're waiting for that initial opening range, then you'd wait until that point in which you know where your high and low is, and then move your lines. Just remember, the moment you move them, that's going to activate the alert. Right. So you'd probably kind of want to wait just a little bit before those lines are active and ready to fire. But essentially now you're ready to go. Once this alert fires, it's going to send that signal off to TradersPost and trade right in that one Apex account, and then you can just add to this as you like.
Cool. So this will work really well, actually, just this chart for all of my strategies, because I will drag and drop for, like, I trade top of opening range to the bottom. So I can just drag and drop that way. That's awesome. And then that's basically what else do I do? I also do, once if I get in an initial trade from which I'm going to stop taking, like, I don't know, I'm working on it, but since it's been such a hard month for me, I'm not going to take more trades if my first trade is like a green. I just need to get some more greens under my belt. But I like when it breaks the second time, and then I sell, get out, take my profit, whatever. And then if I have another count that maybe I'm like, I didn't trade, or for whatever reason, I wait for a pullback to the New York VWAP. And then if it rejects, I then enter into that. Like, if it holds and bounces off New York VWAP, then I get into that trade. So that would have to be manually. Like, I wonder if I could set that up as well, but
you could. I think you would just wait for that event to be almost there and then drag the line to where your entry should be, and that'll activate the entry.
Okay. This is awesome.
Yeah. I guess one last thing is there is a shortcut for MES here. If you want to copy these lines over to that chart, there's a pretty easy way to do it. So if you select the green line, for example, that long, and you do Control C on Mac, or whatever copy is on the keyboard for Mac, is it Option C or is it Apple C? Command C. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you go to MES. First, save your chart here. I think it's saved.
I did.
Okay.
There we go.
Now, if you paste it, it's going to paste that green line at $20,000. Oh, no, it pasted it here. Perfect. Okay, so now you have the same line prepared for MES. And you could do that for the other lines as well.
Is it active? No.
It's not active, and it doesn't have the alert attached to it. So you would just add the alert here, just in the same way we did before. But at least it has the message. Now, if you edit the message here for MES, right now it was set to M&Q still. So you just want to change the contract in the message there.
Which is MES. I can't see it fully. MESM, right? MESM.
That's the one.
Okay. So, okay. And then
at least made it a little bit quicker for you to copy over the same lines to a different chart.
Yes. And then notifications, and then create, right? Is it the same webhook?
It's the same webhook, because you can trade as many tickers as you want in the same strategy. So as long as you're trading, are you trading MES and M&Q at the same time? I
mean, I never have, but if I have this doing it for me, then it's way less stressful to manage. I just don't know how people do it, like manage multiple tickers. I'm like, I guess that's why they have 5,000 screens. I just have one.
Well, I think that's why they use TradersPost too, because you could essentially have all your lines set up, all your entries ready to go. Each one would fire automatically. And then if you had 20 accounts on each symbol, it would trade all 40 of them at the same time as well.
Wow.
So be careful. Your MES alert is still active, I think, if I saw that correctly. There it is.
You did. Look at that. How do you are very quick to, I mean, I guess you see it all the time.
I see it all day long.
Yeah. Okay. Copy and then over here and paste and then make sure that it's not. How did you know it was active? Nothing's active. Stopped. Okay.
Because when you add the alert, it activates the alert itself.
Okay.
Add the alert in paused mode.
Ooh. Okay. So that. Come on, keyboard. There we go. Okay, and then alert, and then do I have to go over to notifications? No, right? Pause. Wow, look at that. I feel like a nerd.
You are
so
a nerd.
Excited.
Welcome to the club.
Woohoo! Activating pause. I've never been a part of the nerdy club. Maybe in grade 5. I was a nerd in grade 5.
I think traders are a whole different breed of nerds. So
they are. I feel pretty cool when I like have it out in public and I'm like have my charts. I'm like, look at me. How cool I am to Starbucks or something. Okay. Sure. There we go. So it's all set up. I'm not gonna
pull that window open just a little bit.
Which window?
Pull the alert window open a little bit so we can see the messages for each one. There we go.
Now you're making me think I need a bigger screen. I have a bigger screen.
I see buy, sell, and exit. So yeah, you're good to go.
Right, I'm not going to drag them. But that is really cool. And then let's do this while you're here. Is it OR? Opening range.
Gosh, there's so many. Like you'd have to go through each one and find the one that you like most. These are all community driven, so it looks like maybe that one from Luxalgo could be pretty good. We're big fans of Luxalgo.
I know. Also, why is it that color?
Oh, it's probably pretty complicated. There's probably all kinds of stuff built into it.
No, delete it.
Which you could change the settings for, I'm sure.
I know Edgeful has one that I just need to get on my chart. Yeah. They do it. Okay, well, that's really, really cool. I think I'll just stick with this for now and then drag and drop according to my strategy.
That's it. So now you've created the alerts, you've got the lines, you can drag them and activate them, you can pause them. I always make sure before I leave my desk that all my alerts are paused so that some rogue trade doesn't go off at 3 o'clock in the morning. So just be aware of that. But that's it. I think
I kind of want to set this up also for my, I can't for my funded. That's right. They're on Project X. Okay, cool. Oh my
Give us a few weeks. We're super excited about Project X.
I'm really excited too. Yeah. Holy smokes. I'm going to get like 500 funded accounts copied onto it.
What's the limit on Project X? I'm sure there's some account limits there.
Maybe.
I
mean, right now I got a few. So I only have 5, so it's not 10, but awesome. Cool. Yay, thank you. How exciting.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that's the line approach. If you want to come back and do another one of these for an indicator or strategy, I'm happy to help you through that. This is great content for anybody who's watching, obviously, who's interested in different approaches here. But again, I'm glad you mentioned earlier, like this isn't an automated approach, but it is automated trading. We are going to take these signals and automatically trade across multiple accounts if you want, or trade just one, manage position size for you, position rules, things like that. So automation can be interpreted a lot of different ways. You can trade manually, but then execute automatically, if that makes sense.
Yes, I wonder if that would be allowed with Top One. I have to ask them.
I would imagine they'd be comfortable with it. The one thing we have noticed is, and we don't really support this on our platform, is signal trading or copy signal trading, where people share a signal to a big group of people all at once. That's a concentration risk that nobody's really excited about or very happy with. But if you're an independent trader trading your own approach, your own indicators, your own strategies, it seems like most companies are very open to that.
Cool. I'm going to reach out to them and ask them.
Awesome. Yeah. Let me know what they say.
Okay.
All right, Rebecca, anything else you want to cover?
No, this is amazing.
Great.
I mean, yes, in time, but this was great. Thank you so much for taking the time to help me get this set up.
You bet. Ping me in the morning. Let me know how the session goes.
I will. Got to add all my accounts now.
Start with one. Let's start there.
Okay, we'll start with one. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Have a good one. Cheers.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye.